What's up? Hanging out in the backyard, waiting on a friend of mine, Curtis, to get here in his car. I have it's another import, 2 weekends in a row. I don't normally ever work on imports. We got 2 back-to-back. But today we're going to be cutting his intake manifold off where the injectors go and welding on a little billet piece. I think it runs the whole, I think it's one whole piece runs the length of the intake for dual injectors. We're going to be redoing some of the charge pipe. It's a little out of my box, but it's going to be pretty cool, and we're just waiting on him to show up here, and we're going to get started. All right, I can already hear him coming. All right, this is Curtis's Honda Civic, and what we're doing today, like I said earlier, is we're gonna cut the intake runners off where the injectors go, right there. Weld this guy on there. It's got dual injectors on it. For what reason?
More fuel.
More fuel. More fuel is more better.
One
And
works
then,
good, 2 work better.
Yeah, and I guess is it gonna throw the charge pipe off a little bit? You think, or?
Yeah. Well, I was hoping we would make 3.5 inch.
Oh, because the new throttle body.
Yeah.
Do we have another plant for that? All right. After realizing I don't have the right material to build this, we're gonna do the intake and finish the rest of it up later. Because I forgot about doing a 3.5 here instead of a 3 with the new throttle body, and I forgot to buy the clamp. I have the piping, just got to get a clamp and transition to go back to 3 inch, unless we do a 3.5 down on the intercooler also. But we're gonna get the intake cut off, throttle body cut off. We'll have a new throttle body flange here, the dual billet injector. What do you call that? Flange. Injector flange. Alright, we welded a 10A on the end of this one. This thing's machined for the dual injectors. We're gonna have to weld some tabs to mount to that new lower billet piece. Trying to decide if we're gonna do an 8 or a 10 on this side, so you're gonna think about that for a few more minutes. Have you looked inside this thing?
Yeah, there's just been trash in it.
There's a huge burr.
Yeah, I saw that.
Sticking it up.
I'm glad you reminded me of that, so I forgot.
Alright, he's got the intake off. We got the lines marked for the height of this. We're gonna cut it off. We're gonna machine it off
Yes, Daddy.
and install the new flange and weld it on. We got the flange cut off, the intake runners, got the new one set down there, spaced up a little bit, just trying to fill it in, get a good penetration and everything, and see, tack it up, see what it looks like. So I've got the flange welded all the way on for the dual injectors. And he's gonna start running a larger bore throttle body. So we had to cut this much off of here so that the bore opens up. You see how much bigger it is? That way it lined up. Went ahead and welded it on the inside as well. And this is where the idle air control valve went, but he doesn't use it. He's got AM and it's straight race car, and he doesn't use any of that. We're gonna clean up some more of this, weld these little bolt holes back shut, clean it up, give it a little paint, and install it back on the car. The throttle body's on for mock-up, so we can check for this throttle cable bracket, because we welded the throttle body flange on a little bit different angle to clear a few things and make it look a little nicer. And we just whipped up this little throttle body bracket. Looks pretty nice. So all we gotta do now is install it on the car and start on the charge pipe. So right here is the throttle body for the intake that Curtis, he got painted up. We left the welds on everything so you can see it to make it look more custom with a K. And this is the throttle body. It has, I don't know where it's at, but a different flange that with the groove and the O-ring was too big around for the vibrant flange. So I cut it off. I'm fixing to weld this new one on. This thing just looks great now. Got a better weld on the throttle body than the old setup. Everything just looks really, really nice. I'm gonna have this throttle bracket that I built up there. It just looks so nice, so nice. I got the intake just snugged up on there. Now I have to start building the intercooler piping. We stepped up to 3.5. So I have to redo the intercooler piping on my 90 and lift the 90 down a little bit and down into kind of a 45, and then loop it into the intercooler. Half of the V-band off of the throttle body and get it welded onto this 90. Weld this one on there just like that. Got a nice little bead on it. I'll go over here and stick it on the car. Wow, this thing is hot. Just sitting in there right now, so it's not exactly where it belongs. You can see at 90s, comes straight, and 45s down a little bit. And since I have this 90 not looking flat, it's looking down, I'm just gonna point a little farther past 90. It's just leaning against the radiator hose right now, but once it's in its position there with the O-rings, it's gonna kick up a little bit. And down there, I'm gonna put a 90, and then 90 it, and try to 45 and 45 it, because the bumper comes real close right here, so we got to come 45 straight out of that. Alright, so on Curtis's Civic, I've jumped ahead a little bit on the work without recording it, but we've got the whole charge pipe tacked up, some of it welded out, and I'm about to put you on time lapse and let you watch me weld it all out, and then we can stick it back on the car. There it is, intercooler to the throttle body. So I'll weld it out. I'm gonna let it cool down for just a second and go over there and stick it on the car. That thing is just beautiful, look at it. Look at it. A lot of people aren't doing polished pipe anymore. And it just has, to some people, a cheap look if it's like Chinese aluminum, but this is all vibrant stuff. Check it out. Holla at your boy. It's all vibrant stuff, real nice, and it just, the polish on it and the quality of the aluminum is so much better than Chinese stuff, because the Chinese stuff is like clear anodized. It looks like crap. It's very stupid, very bad to weld. This stuff here just welds great. You can see the welds, how nice they turn out. And when it comes to aluminum, it's not if you're a really good welder or not, it's what you're welding. So a really, really good welder can weld some crap material and make them question themselves, like, am I a bad welder? All the time I'll get some bad aluminum and be like, holy crap, I suck. Which, besides the point that I do suck, material most of the time is just very bad. That's why I don't let customers supply any material or anything like that. And I'm not going to put the rubber gaskets, the rubber O-rings that go right here in these connections, because Curtis has to take that intake pipe back off. He has to take the intake back off so he can drill and tap a 3/8 port for coolant passage, and that wasn't done previously. We just saw that it's like that, and there's a couple hoses he has to change out that I have to tell him about once he gets here to pick the car up, because the way the fuel rails ended up being after we made them, they get real close to another some sort of oil line or something. So you can put the fuel line on and the oil line and stuff like that, but it's gonna be better if he puts a 45 on one of them. So you can see it has a lot of room to flex, and it doesn't move that easy once the O-rings are in it. It's pretty tight, but that's it. Turned out real nice. I don't know if I have a V-band clamp for the downpipe. This is the downpipe I built last year for it. It just kind of goes right here, goes right there and goes out the hood. Later on we might change that up, but if he wants to. He's talking about trying to go out the fender, which we possibly could, but the tires are so dadgum big, I don't know if that's going to be a possibility. But let's let you get a little better look at it real quick. So we got the Sheepy Race intercooler. It's like a 2.5-inch core. Ace Race HD clamp, which they don't manufacture anymore. These are older ones that I bought, I guess it's been probably 2 years ago almost. And the new Vibrant piping. Let me just pull this downpipe back out of the way so you can see. That turned out real well. Goes down there. Makes a few bends. We're not gonna put a blow-off valve on it because that's what the import guys do. They don't run a blow-off valve. Well, it turned out real nice. I'm real happy with it. I know Curtis is gonna be real happy with it. It's very clean looking. And so he's gonna have to clean the car up a little bit to match all the rest of the work, but he's just like me. He works on other people's cars, and so his car kind of gets neglected. That's how my car is. But until the next video, like, subscribe, do all that good fancy stuff. Leave a comment, ask me a question. Let me know how bad I suck. Let me know what you want to see. If you have any questions about, the way I do something, if you have a question, anything to do with fabrication that you haven't seen me do, just let me know. I'll help you out. We got some cool things coming that I ordered. Some new automated toys. I'm like super duper excited about. It's gonna be pretty neat when those come. It's a big machine. When it comes in a couple weeks. I ordered it a week and a half ago, and then they said 3 to 4 weeks back order, so hopefully it'll be in a couple weeks. So when it comes in, we'll do a good video on that. Just be on the lookout for a few more videos coming up. I'm gonna keep trying to build cool stuff for y'all, and we will see you on the next video.
Oh my God!